Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's class is on Yoga Philosophy of Education. I'm excited to share that this video is made in response to requests from some of our dedicated learners. It has been a long year since my last video and I'm thrilled to be back. I was in the final phase of my PhD, which is now completed. Thank you all for your patience and support during this time. Also, please let me know in the comment section if you have been waiting for my classes, and also feel free to suggest any education related topic you would want me to cover for the upcoming videos. Now, let us dive into today's lesson, Yoga Philosophy of Education. And in this video, we will understand with simple explanations what yoga philosophy is, the core concepts of this philosophy, the exponents, metaphysics, epistemology and exology, fundamental principles, aims of education, curriculum, methods of teaching, role of teacher and students, discipline and school. Now, let us start with understanding what yoga philosophy is. The term yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to unite or to join. This philosophy integrates physical, mental, and spiritual practices. It is considered as Astika, an orthodox school of Indian philosophy, emphasizing a harmonious union of body, mind, and spirit. Astik basically means those who believe in the existence of Atma, the self. They believe in the existence of an eternal God. They also accept the authority of the Vedas, which are the sacred scriptures of the ancient India. The goal of this philosophy is to achieve spiritual enlightenment, self-realization, and inner peace. It has a rich historical context and is deeply rooted in Indian culture and tradition. This philosophy was founded by Maharishi Patanjali. Hence, this philosophy is also called Patanjali philosophy. Patanjali in his work Yoga Sutra, which is also a foundational text of yoga, which we will explain in detail on the next slide. So in the Yoga Sutra, yoga is defined as the restraint of the activities of the mind, which basically leads to a deeper state of meditation and self-awareness. In this context, the chitta, which is the totality of mind, holds significant importance. It includes our consciousness, intellect, ego, and memory. And by mastering the control of chitta, one can attain a higher state of mental and spiritual well-being. Now, let us discuss the core concepts that define this philosophy, starting with Yoga Sutra. It is basically an ancient text on the teachings of yoga written by the sage Patanjali, which are divided into 4 main chapters called the pads. Number 1 is the Samadhi pad. This chapter deals with the experiences of Samadhi, which is a profound state of mental absorption. It's all about reaching higher level of consciousness and spiritual realization through specific yogic practices. Number 2, the Sadhana pad. Here, Patanjali explains the practical sides of yoga. It includes the Eightfold Path, Ashtanga Yoga, which outlines the steps like ethical behavior, self-discipline, meditation, and more. These are the tools you use to grow spiritually and mentally. Next, Vibhuti Pad. This chapter discusses the Siddhis, which are extraordinary abilities that can come from advanced yogic practices. It also addresses the challenges and distractions that practitioners might encounter along their journey. Finally, Kavalya Pad focuses on liberation. Kavalya, which means freeing yourself from suffering and realizing your true self. It's the ultimate goal of yoga to go beyond the boundaries of the ego and discover deep inner peace. Now, coming to Chit. This refers to the total mind, which includes all aspects of our consciousness and mental activity. It's like the central hub where our thoughts, perceptions, and emotions come together to form our inner world. Now, let us break down Chit into its main components. Manas, meaning mind. The Manas is like the processing center of our mind. It's responsible for taking in sensory information from the world around us, coordinating our responses. Imagine it as the part of your mind that analyzes and interprets everything you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. And then we have the Ahankar, which is the ego. Ahankar is our sense of individuality and identity. It is basically what makes us feel like a unique person, and thoughts, beliefs, and experiences that define who we are. Ahankar is the part of Chit that identifies the self with our thoughts and roles in life. Next, the Buddhi or the intellect. Buddhi is like the wise counselor within us. It's the faculty of discrimination and wisdom that enables us to make decisions and judgments. Buddhi helps us discern between right and wrong, truth and false, guiding our actions based on clarity and understanding. Now, the Chit is constantly being influenced by 5 different mental modifications or Vtis. The Vtis shape how we perceive the world and interact with it. Let us understand them one by one. Pramana, meaning correct knowledge. Pramana refers to the valid knowledge gained through direct perception, logical inference, or trusted sources like scriptures. It's when we know something to be true based on solid evidence and reliable information. Next, Vipraya, the misconception. Vipraya is the opposite of Pramana. It's when we have incorrect knowledge or misunderstanding something. This could be due to misinterpretation, biases, or incomplete information that leads to wrong conclusions. Next, Vikalpa, which means imagination. Vikalpa involves the mind creating constructs and ideas that may not necessarily have a basis in reality. It's the true area of imagination where we invent scenarios, ideas, or possibilities even if they don't exist in the present moment. Next, Nidra, which means sleep. It is, however, not just physical sleep, it also refers to the mental state of inactivity or dullness. When our mind is in Nidra, it's not actively processing information or engaging with the world. It is a state of rest and absence of mental activity. Next, Smriti, meaning memory. Smriti involves the retention of experiences, memories, and impressions in our mind. It is what allows us to recall past events, learn from our experiences, and build upon our knowledge over time. All these 5 types of mental conditions constantly interact and influences our Chit, shaping our thoughts, perceptions, and responses to the world around us. By understanding these influences, we can become more aware of how our mind operates and therefore cultivate clarity and discernment in our daily lives. Now, coming to the next core concept of this philosophy, the Kaleshas. Kaleshas are mental afflictions or obstacles that causes suffering and hinder our spiritual growth. According to the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, they are the root causes of human distress. Understanding them help us identify and overcome the challenges on our spiritual journey. Let us explore the 5 Kaleshas in detail. Number 1, Avidya, which means ignorance. Avidya is the fundamental misunderstanding of the true nature of reality. It is when we mistake the temporary and the material world for the ultimate truth. This ignorance clouds our judgment and leads to various forms of suffering. Next, Asmita, meaning egoism. It is the identification of the self with the ego or individual identity. It is the belief that we are separate and distinct from others, leading to the feeling of pride, jealousy, and isolation. This egoism can prevent us from experiencing unity and connection with the world around us. Next, raga, meaning attachment. This basically refers to our desire for pleasurable experiences and objects. It's the tendency to cling to things that bring us joy and satisfaction. While it is natural to seek happiness, excessive attachment can lead to dependence and disappointment when we cannot have what we desire. Next, dvesha, which means aversion. This is the avoidance of unpleasant experiences and things. It's the opposite of raga, where instead of clinging, we push away. This aversion can cause us to live in fear and anxiety, constantly trying to avoid pain and discomfort. Next, abhinivesha, which means fear of death, and an instinctive clinging to life. It's the most primal of the kaleshas, driving most of our behavior on a subconscious level. This fear can prevent us from living fully and embracing change and transformation. Now, let us move on to the next concept, Ashtanga Yoga, the Eightfold Path. This is basically a step-by-step guide to help us grow spiritually and personally. It consists of 8 parts, each building on the other to lead us towards a balanced and enlightened life. Let us go through each of these steps. Number 1, yama, which are the ethical disciplines, involves moral guidelines on how we should interact with the world. This includes non-violence or ahimsa, which means to be kind and not harm others, truthfulness or satya, always being honest, non-stealing or asteya, which means not taking what doesn't belong to us, continence or brahmacharya, which means practicing self-control, non-covetousness, aparigraha, which means not being greedy or overly attached to material things. The second step is niyama, which means personal observations. Niyama focuses on our personal habits and behaviors, which are purity or socha, meaning to keep ourselves and our surroundings clean. Contentment or santosha, meaning to be happy with what we have. Austerity or tapas, meaning practicing self-discipline and endurance. Study or swadhyaya, meaning learning and reflecting on spiritual text and surrender to God or Ishvara. Pranidhana, meaning trusting and dedicating our actions to a higher power. Next is asana, or the physical postures. They are the yoga poses we do to keep our bodies strong, flexible, and healthy. Asanas helps us prepare our bodies for meditation by improving our physical discipline. Next, pranayama, or the breath control. Pranayama involves techniques to control our breathing. By regulating our breath, we can manage our life force prana, calm our mind, and improve our health. Next, pratyahara, which means withdrawal of senses from external distractions. It's like turning off the noises around us so that we can focus inward and connect with our inner self. Next, dharana, or concentration. It's about focusing our mind on a single point or object. This practice helps us improve our concentration and prepare for deeper meditation. It is the practice of having an uninterrupted flow of concentration which helps us to develop a calm and clear mind, allowing us to go deeper into our spiritual practice. And the last one, samadhi, or the state of meditative absorption. Samadhi is the final goal where we reach a state of deep meditation and union with the object of our meditation. It's a state of complete absorption and inner peace. By allowing these 8 steps, we can develop a balanced approach to living, grow spiritually, and find greater peace and fulfillment in our lives. Now, let us talk about some of the key figures who have shaped yoga as we know it today. Maharishi Patanjali is the founder of this philosophy. He wrote the Yoga Sutras, which are a collection of teachings that form the foundation of this philosophy. Swami Vivekananda was a key figure in introducing yoga to the Western world. He traveled to the United States and Europe in the late 19th century, sharing the principles of yoga and Indian philosophy. These teachings helped spark global interest in yoga. B.K.S. Iyengar developed a style of yoga known as Iyengar Yoga. This approach emphasizes proper alignment and precision in each pose. He also used props like blocks and straps to help students achieve the correct posture, making yoga more accessible to everyone. Tirumalai Krishnamacharya, often referred to as the father of modern yoga, played a crucial role in the modernization of yoga in the 20th century. He taught many students who later became famous yoga teachers themselves, helping to spread yoga across the world. Now, let us talk about the metaphysical aspects of yoga philosophy. This might sound complex, but I'll break it down for you. So, metaphysics is a philosophical term which basically means reality. In yoga philosophy, reality is dualistic in nature, which means it has two parts, the Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is pure consciousness. It is the spiritual part of reality. Prakriti, on the other hand, is matter. It is the physical world we can interact with. Maya is like a veil of illusion that binds our true self, Atma, to the material world. It makes us think that the physical world is all that exists. Atma is our true self, a part of Purusha, the consciousness. It's who we really are beyond our physical bodies and minds. Realizing the true nature of Atma is the key to achieving liberation, freedom from suffering. It means understanding that we are more than just our physical bodies and worldly experiences. Yoga practices helps us rise above Maya and understand the true nature of reality. They show us how to look past the illusion and connect with our true self, leading to spiritual freedom. Now, let us talk about epistemology, which is the study of knowledge. Pramana refers to the ways we gain knowledge. There are three main types: pratiksha or perception. This is the knowledge we gain through our senses, like seeing or hearing something directly. Anumana or inference is knowledge we gain through reasoning and thinking, like figuring out something based on clues. Shabda or spiritual testimony is the knowledge we gain from trustworthy sources, like the sacred text or teachings from wise person. Next is dhyana or meditation, which is a key practice in yoga for gaining deeper intuitive knowledge that goes beyond what we can perceive with our senses. It helps us to connect with our inner wisdom. Next is avidya, meaning ignorance, which is the root cause of suffering and misperception. It's the misunderstanding or lack of knowledge about our true nature and reality. Knowledge, especially understanding our true self, Atma, is crucial for overcoming ignorance. Now, coming to exology, which means values and ethics, which we have already discussed on the earlier slide, Eightfold Path. So these are the guidelines on how we should live our lives. To recap, yamas include non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, continence, and non-covetousness. Niyamas include purity, contentment, austerity, study of the scriptures, and surrender to God. Now, coming to the fundamental principles of this philosophy. The first point is that yoga helps us balance our physical, mental, and spiritual selves to feel whole and unified. We have already talked about yamas and niyamas, which guides our behavior and helps us grow spiritually. Next, yoga teaches us to calm and control our mind through concentration, dharana. and meditation dhyana. This helps us to think clearly and feel peaceful. Next, doing yoga postures, asanas, and breathing exercises, pranayama, keeps us healthy and prepares us for meditation. Next, yoga helps us recognize and overcome things like ignorance, ego, attachment, aversion, and fear. Also, we have learned that reality is dualistic in nature in this philosophy. That is, Purusha, consciousness, and Prakriti, matter. Now, let us move on to the aims of education of this philosophy, which are to facilitate self-realization. Yoga helps us understand our true selves beyond our bodies and thoughts. For example, through meditation, we can discover our inner peace and wisdom. Next, to promote holistic development. Yoga aims to develop all parts of us, body, mind, and spirit. Doing the asanas, yoga postures, improve our physical health, while meditation strengthens our mental well-being. Next, to instill moral and ethical values. For example, through practices like non-violence and truthfulness, yoga encourages students to treat others with kindness and honesty. This fosters a supportive and respectful learning environment. Next, to develop mental discipline and focus. For example, techniques such as the breath control, pranayama, and concentration, dharana, help students enhance their concentration and mental clarity. This improves their ability to focus during studies and exams. Next, to encourage physical well-being. For example, learning yoga poses like the tree pose can improve balance and postures, which is beneficial for overall well-being. Next, to achieve liberation from suffering. Yoga teaches students to manage stress and negative emotions effectively. Now, let us explore what the curriculum in yoga philosophy should include. The curriculum should include teachings from ancient texts like the Yoga Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishads. It should also involve practicing yoga postures, asanas and pranayamas, breath control. Additionally, meditation and mindfulness practice will help students calm their mind and improve concentration. Curriculum should also include teachings of yamas and niyamas such as non-violence and truthfulness. Next, the methods of teaching that are used in this philosophy, which are direct instruction and demonstration, guided meditation and breath control exercises, interactive discussions, personalized guidance and mentorship, case studies and practical applications like reducing stress before exams. Now, let us talk about the role of teachers in yoga philosophy. The teachers share their deep understanding of classical text and philosophical principles with the students. They live by the ethical guidelines of yamas and niyamas, setting an example for the students to follow. The teachers help you learn through practice, guiding you in yoga postures and meditation. They offer individual support and mentorship to help you improve and grow in your yoga practices. Finally, the teachers encourages you to reflect on your experiences and thoughts, helping you gain deeper insights. Now, let us look at the role of students. The students should approach learning with an open and receptive mind. They should practice discipline and self-regulation in their daily routine. Students should engage in both physical and mental exercise. They should strive for self-improvement and self-awareness, seeking to grow and understand themselves better. Next, discipline. Discipline in yoga philosophy is all about self-discipline. This is crucial because true growth and transformation comes from within. One key concept here is tapas, which means self-discipline or burning enthusiasm. Tapas involves putting in constant effort and maintaining practice regularly even when it is challenging. One should also be mindful in their actions. Karma yoga, staying aware and intentional in everything they do. Steadfastness in meditation, dhyana, is important for maintaining focus and achieving inner peace. Ethical discipline through yama and niyama helps to live with integrity and respect. Now, coming to the end of our class, let us discuss the ideal school environment in yoga philosophy. A school should be a spiritual community where everyone supports each other's growth. It should be a nurturing environment that encourages learning and personal development. Ideally, the school should be situated in tranquil natural surroundings, which will help create a peaceful and focused atmosphere for practice and study. So there was all on today's class on yoga philosophy. I hope you liked the video. Please let me know in the comment section, like, subscribe, and share it with others who might find it beneficial. Stay tuned for more upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.